Hey guys, this is episode 5 of Noodle Time. Welcome. Here with me is the master of one-on-one draws, Tony Rubio. Tony, say hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Noodle Time, live from Matt Jordan's basement. Here we were able to find finally where Jose Bizama's been hiding this whole time. MJ's had him locked up.
That's where he has been all this time, honestly.
Yeah. So for those that have been wondering where the heck he is, we got him here in MJ's basement.
Yeah, so that's why he made the appearance in bench last Saturday. So credit to Tony for finding him first, and then I also take credit just because he's in my show.
Exactly.
Yes.
Welcome to Noodle Time after a glorious weekend of Dynamo home game.
Yeah, and Dash. They did both tie 1-1 at BBA, which was kind of funny because I also just released the 11th issue of Fox in the Box, which is kind of interesting. It's enlightening omen coming from Kevin Garcia. And if you don't believe me, then you can turn off this episode right now.
Yeah, if you guys don't believe in the spirit of Kevin Garcia, then get the heck out of here, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about those games. We're also going to preview the Texas Derby coming up this weekend, which I bet is going to be a nightmare. But we'll get into that, so don't worry. There's a lot to talk about. And just before that, a little bit of housekeeping. Follow us on Instagram. I need more followers. Please follow me. Please follow me on Instagram.
We're gonna buy some Russian farm troll followers at this rate if you guys don't follow.
Yeah, if you guys don't follow, then I'm gonna buy more Instagram followers. So no, I'm joking. No, I don't buy followers. That's kind of cringy. But yeah. So yeah, follow me on Instagram if you guys want. We're gonna post more pictures over time. And yeah, if you guys are not reading the weekly newsletter, Fox in the Box, I just released the 11th issue, like I just mentioned. It's a pretty interesting and fun roundup that I do every single week. Every Monday morning, I publish it to email subscribers or over in social media, so people can catch up to whatever the Dynamo and Dash did the previous week. And it's pretty cool, so check it out if you guys want. And of course, you can also catch all the newsletter posts, all the podcast episodes on ko-fi.com/dynamicfoxtrot. That's also the place where you can support our content every single week or whenever you guys want. And
donate money so we can go to Salada. Because I've never been to Salada and Tomas Martinez has, so I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, and shout out to Wilson for being Kofi supporter for the past 2 months.
Yes, sir. Wilson Calvert. That's the master.
Yeah, Wilson Calvert, the master of
airplane deals, right there.
City.
If you don't already know that.
Yeah, and the master of city planning, and tell him that he loves when people park their cars on the bike lane. He loves it so much. So please park your car in the bike lane, share a picture with him just to see what happens. He's going to hug you. We're joking.
Tag Dynamic Foxtrot.
Yes, and actually, don't do it. He hates it. He's going to kill you, so don't do it. Okay, so let's get started with the episode.
All right, okay. So we got, if you guys aren't living under a rock, we tied LAFC 1-1 at home this week. If you held a gun to my head before this game and told me, will you accept a draw with LAFC, I would have very much taken it. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't include the thing about the gun, but yes, I would have. If you would have told me if I will take a LAFC tie, I would have told you 100% because I am scared of Diego Rossi. And if you don't know me, I go into every game thinking we're going to lose because I have trust issues. Thanks to Owen Coyle.
As a precautious Dynamo fan, we always keep our expectations fairly low. Even though I'm pretty optimistic, and like I said many times, not Web Tilton optimistic, but fairly optimistic. And yeah, coming into this game, just seeing even without Vela, Rossi and Atuesta can create some insane damage. And not only them, but also the likes of Latif Blessing. Like he was incredibly fast, and we've seen him this past weekend just doing his thing really. And like over the course of the entire game, like I was just pretty much worried because the midfield was essentially shut down. Like the Dynamo weren't doing as much before their equalizing goal in the second half, and yeah, like I just felt like LAFC were going to strike at any moment now. But I was somewhat surprised because like coming from last weekend, like Boniek still started in the back line, and I thought the back line was going to be different, or there's going to be like a few changes in the starting lineup. But this is the third game in a row that Tab Ramos starts his lineup essentially, and yeah, it was pretty interesting because I felt like they performed better than the result in Portland, obviously with a 1-1 draw. But at the same time, I feel like they needed more juice in that attacking front, and
for sure.
the goals, like obviously like it was awesome that Pasher tied the game immediately after conceding the goal, but at the same time, like after the equalizing goal, like not much happened really. The Dynamo, like I could see like the talent gap there really between LAFC and the Dynamo, with us with only one DP. So that tells a lot really.
Well, I mean, we know Tab goes a long way back with Bob Bradley. I think I heard them mention something about how Bob Bradley tried to get him to come play at Virginia back in the day, back in the 19th century. But Tab went to UNC or whatever, wherever he went, and started his amazing career. So they go way back. But I think we almost saw that respect at the end. The last 20 minutes really could have, I don't know, gone for the win, because it really seemed like we were content with the tie. I mean, not saying that that's what 100% was happening, but we brought on Derek Jones, Darwin Turin. Side note, who I love, Derek Jones. I was telling Andres, really liked how he came and broke up the play in the second half. And I mean, obviously, apart from his size, he's just a ball-winning machine. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we see him in a starting lineup in one of those coming games where we could really use more of that. But I don't know. How do you feel overall about what you said about the attacking trio? What do you think's missing there? Is that attributing just to the midfield, to the attacking three?
Well, it mostly falls under midfield since we have like a ton of attacking pieces, but obviously we're just missing that game changer, that designated player, wink wink, that we're missing in the midfield, or just a defender, wink wink, like like really important pieces that should have been filled out by now, but obviously we haven't, with this ownership and a ton of dead horse topics that we talk about.
I mean,
when it comes to
like you said, although they were missing Carlos Vela, and although they don't really have a starting striker since BWP left, no disrespect to Danny Wasowski there, but it's just like LAFC is still one of the top teams in the league, and it's no surprise that our midfield was somewhat suppressed, especially Memo more than anybody this game. Didn't really have the impact that you would want because, Atuesta, Mark Anthony K, Latif Blessing, and then, they bring on Janela off the bench. All these top guys that maybe are in the bench for LAFC but would be starting elsewhere in the league. So no surprise that they suppressed that, but it's weird. It's like neither team wanted the win in a way. For me, it seemed like the Dynamo, obviously it was a sloppy game like everybody saw, especially because of the pitch of the rain. But it seemed like the Dynamo kept getting into LAFC's, like right before they got into their attacking third, we would lose the ball. The combination play just wasn't there. And the thing that I saw people talk about the most that I agree with is this is one of those games where it's almost like you would have preferred if Christian Ramirez was up there, or anyone else that except Ariel Lassiter. No, thank you. But so a hold-up striker almost to hold up the ball and feed the wings or drop it back to Memo. I don't know. What do you think there?
Yeah, like I'm not sure why Lassiter is still playing and Bahamic is not on bench. Like at this point, I like to see more Bahamic really, and like I've already seen plenty of Lassiter, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Like he's just like running after balls there and not creating much. Obviously, it can change in the next couple of weeks, but like so far, I'm not impressed with him, and I'd like to see Bahamic get a shot on the field, especially against FC Dallas coming up.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the bigger problems. Not as bad as the years past. 3 years ago, our bench was just Arturo Alvarez, Tommy McNamara. We're not gonna go back to those days, but it's definitely an improvement from those days. But I mean, there's a lot of talk around the league of Christian Ramirez is a well-respected striker, and there's no rumors yet, but some of the guys on Extra Time Radio from MLS and just from other sites are saying, Christian Ramirez might be one of those guys. Well, if a team needs a striker this midsummer from injuries from international duty, that might be a piece that moves on from the Dynamo. But if the Dynamo move on from Christian Ramirez, who the hell are we going to bring in as backup striker or to challenge Rudy?
Yeah, like I can definitely see him being traded this summer or very soon. Really, he's like you said, a very well respected forward that can score a lot of goals in the right system. But yeah, I felt like he came in pretty late in the game because he came in like 3 minutes, 3 minutes before the game ended, really, like in extra time. And obviously he did have enough time to make an impact. And yeah, the question is if he could make like an impact later on, and that remains to be seen, since I feel like he hasn't had enough game time to prove that.
I don't think Christian Ramirez is a striker you bring on in the 90th minute and you expect. And I saw one fan saying like, "Man, he just came on and he can't beat so and so to a ball." I mean, just because he came off the bench doesn't mean he instantly has 99 sprint speed over everybody else.
He only has 3 minutes to do something, so that's like enough pressure already. And let's go ahead and talk about LAFC's goal, because for some reason VAR decided to not check this play. Either that or the referee just decided to like not to check it at all, and it was really concerning because just looking, like if you didn't check the replay, like there could have been a pretty good chance that you think that was a fair goal, but with like in the right angle, like in one of the angles that the broadcast show, like it shows like there was offsides during the link play for the goal, which was pretty concerning.
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously we sound like salty Dynamo fans here, which we are, but
yeah,
come on, everybody was putting tweets out. Everybody was talking about it, and we've seen goals taken back for a variety of different reasons in the past. It's just baffling that this goal doesn't even go to VAR, because what it seemed like from the frames that I saw that were frozen was that first initial pass that went into, I believe, was it Latif Blessing, that then squared it back and then got it to Barrett on the first pass to I think it was Blessing. Sorry if I'm incorrect there. Somebody correct me later on, but that initial pass looked like he was offside. But looking at the frame, it looks like Tim Parker was keeping him on. But then the last pass to Barrett, who obviously just tapped it in back post, that's the one that looked the most suspect. And several people made the point that the assistant, the line referee, wasn't even in line with the play. So why not just go to VAR? You're not losing anything going to VAR. You're losing 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's another excellent point.
Yeah,
for some reason, like the linesman wasn't even lined up to the back line, which made it pretty difficult for him to call the offsides in the first place. So there should have been the referee should have at least checked it, and we don't even know like if the VAR booth even like noticed that too. So it's really annoying, really, that like and Tyrone was talking about it too. Like he pretty much straight up said that was offsides, and for some reason it wasn't checked. Like he didn't say that part, but he like pretty much said that goal was offsides, and for some reason it wasn't checked.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's look at it this way. Those goals are going to happen. Hopefully we get those calls during the season as well. So it's the way it goes. We can't control it, but the Dynamo did control, obviously, like we said, a sloppy game. But look, we gave away that chance to an amazing passing LAFC team. They finished it, whether it was offside or not, who knows. But the only other chance that they really had where they, it was extremely dangerous, was that a through ball to Rossi in like the 12th minute of the game, which Rossi honestly really should have put a lot more power behind it, but still credit to Marco Maric. Like we've talked about him before, and other fans gets a lot of hate, to be honest. But so far this season, nothing out of the ordinary, and hopefully he just keeps building on that consistency. Because I think he deserves to be on the pitch, obviously, every week, and hopefully, I mean, for the sake of the team, let's see. Hopefully, we see some more shutouts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Maric had a pretty good game, honestly, especially the save he did against Rossi. That was pretty impressive. Like Rossi was going for the fake out with like a grounded shot, and Maric managed to like save it with one hand on the ground, which was it's a pretty difficult save, honestly, and credit to him for pulling that off.
And like you mentioned before, we saw Boniek for the third straight game in a row at center back next to Tim Parker, and I mean, first of all, as a Dynamo fan, I'm kind of happy to see some consistency in lineups after the ups and downs with Wilmer Cabrera. I don't know I don't know the statistic, but I remember hearing that like throughout I think Wilmer's like last season with us, or second to last season, he had like 20 something different lineups that season. Like it was always one piece moving in or out.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Injuries, and so I really appreciate Tab's consistency because I mean, obviously things don't go our way some games, but you got to give the boys some time to gel. And look, I'm sorry at this point. I prefer to have Boniek back there over somebody like Fuenmayor because maybe he's not getting his chances, and he's still a little unfit. But come on, a 37-year-old Boniek Garcia over mid-20s Fuenmayor. That just tells you the state of our center back pool.
Situation, yeah.
So. I mean, cheers to Boniek. He's still doing his thing and club legend. But why do we bring Alejandro Fuenmayor back on another year of contract if the guy's not even going to be playing?
Oh yeah, that's a good point, really. And shout out to Boniek for getting his 250 appearances with the Dynamo. Like the ultimate GOAT. But it may be there's like a GOAT matchup in this game, especially with Tyler Pasher's goal, like which came in immediately after LAFC's goal, which was pretty impressive, and I felt like the play with Pico was also good, but Pasher got his first goal with the Dynamo finally after the Portland own goal looked like a Tyler Pasher goal.
That should have been an assist. That should count as, even if it's an own goal, there should be an assist included. But that's one goal and one assist for Tyler Pasher. Definitely the most surprising Dynamo player of the season so far. But cheers to him. And I mean, what was the comparison you were talking about?
Oh yeah, definitely with Andrew Driver. Like they may not be physically, like they may not resemble each other physically, but at the same time, it's a pretty interesting comparison we're gonna do for our man on Twitter at Dynamo3. He asked us to do like a comparison with like between Tyler Pasher and Andrew Driver. But yeah, if you don't know Andrew Driver, he used to play with the Dynamo back in the mid 2010s. Scottish like legend. on the Dynamo meme tier list, like I would say he's like a B tier meme, considering that he also looks like one of our good friends in the
Ross Jackson, the legend.
Yeah, Ross Jackson, the biggest Dynamo fan in Northern Ireland.
The only Dynamo fan in Northern Ireland.
We don't know that.
We don't know that,
but he's the biggest. Actually, he's the biggest for sure.
We got to shout out his girlfriend Amy too, second biggest Dynamo fan in Ireland.
Oh yes, for sure. And yeah, like he looks a lot like Andrew Driver, and yeah, like both. Like they don't play on the different side of the field. Like Pasher plays on the right, while Andrew Driver used to play on the left, and it will be pretty tough to compare them. I feel like Pasher has more technical play compared to Andrew Driver, based on what I can remember from watching Andrew Driver in the past. But yeah, I feel like Pasher can beat him 1v1 probably.
Andrew Driver's kind of a meme just because he's. I don't know. He was a funny guy in the Dynamo days back then, but he was actually a decent player, and I think his time here was a little shorter than maybe he would have wanted. But last I heard, he was still living in Houston, so I don't know what it is. People like to talk about how terrible the weather is in Houston and everything, but all our players always move back here. So Corey Ash, Mikey Chabala, shout out Sphere Club. Sponsor us.
Yeah, and I also think, Rashid Alavigi also lives here, so take that as you will. Rashid Alavigi, like, if you don't know who Rashid Alavigi is, then you can also turn off the episode right now.
Turn it off right now and never listen to us again.
Yeah.
No, but for sure, Tyler Pasher, on a serious note, 3 games in, obviously we're not giving out MVP awards, but it's definitely promising. So he's got a lot to work for. Obviously, Canada is a budding national team, and if he keeps playing his cards right like that, there's no way that Canada won't bring him in for a Gold Cup or something like that in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wish him the best, really. Like, he has been bowling his butt off. Yeah. And yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Dash game against the Thorns.
Sure.
Which, on Sunday. Also at VBA, they did tie 1-1. The Dash, it was a pretty difficult game for the Dash. The Thorns having won all their games, and they managed to tie this one, which is a pretty
good result.
It was a good result for them, fair accomplishment, considering they also had like the full strength squad from Portland, and
that's how it should be. What this season should have been is 3 wins for the Dash and 1 tie versus the Portland Thorns. But, salty Dash fans now, salty Dynamo fans now, salty Dash fans.
Yeah, salty Houston fans.
Yes, in general.
Yeah, the unifying unification. Yeah.
Like, let's be real. This Challenge Cup was preseason for us. We settled in. We got our depth players a lot of reps, and we're still gonna lose internationals for the upcoming season. But look, they got their feet under them, and that championship is the Dash's. No cap.
Oh yeah, they definitely have all the weapons to go to the championship game this season. Starting 2 weeks time, like I definitely feel like they have the momentum going on for them, especially since they got like a pretty interesting result from this game. It wasn't as flashy as the last game against Kansas City, but like it was pretty entertaining to watch considering how both of these teams are built, and essentially like I said before, these guys came in with full strength squads. They face each other. I felt like the Dash were about to win this game, but the goal that they gave away was a silly defensive mistake that could have been prevented, but they did pretty well overall. And I also feel like it's a game that really emphasizes on how well the Dash have improved defensively. Like if you could field like both the Dynamo and the Dash defensively, like make them play against each other, then I feel like the Dash can beat them.
We might need to take a couple of Dash players onto our back line.
Seriously, no, we have to sign them up, and we need some center backs.
But I mean, this game, neither team was like super dangerous in attacks. I think it was kind of give or take there. Obviously, with 2 teams that are pretty stacked in terms of NWSL, it's not that abnormal. So midfield battle, but honestly, both of their goals pretty similar. But props to Shea Groom, kind of getting her rhythm. Hadn't seen her in the attacking side as much throughout these past games, but happy to finally see her back on the score sheet, and hopefully we see more of that during the season.
Oh yeah, and just another point I wanted to bring out was the fact that Rachel Daly is GOAT. She's amazing. Like every time she just steps on the field, she manages the offense like crazy. Like the play, like usually like defensive play for Houston usually revolves around her, and that's just amazing. Really, how the team essentially benefits from her just being there, and just how well she handles the ball and her awareness too. And I felt like she also could have had a penalty, but I wasn't quite sure since she got like pushed from behind inside the box, and just her awareness really, and just being in her A game almost every single time. It's awesome, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's definitely positive stuff for the Dash going forward. And I mean, we just have like I said, obviously it's not a preseason tournament, but for me, I'm kind of looking at it that way, and I'm pretty excited for this coming season and hopefully catch a game or two in person with the Dash.
Yeah, like I would say, yeah, it's a fair assessment really to call this a preseason tournament since it's before the season starts, and they only had like 4 games.
Before, they barely had any preseason actual games, so I mean, and Jane Campbell's still an absolute stud. So I mean, I saw James Clarkson in the post game conference talking about how he believes that she's the best goalkeeper in the world, and I mean, come on, I actually that's a bold statement to make, but it's definitely not a far fetched one because she's really on the come up, and she's only got so many more years to keep developing. So who knows if we see her in Europe one day, or if NWSL is still the place to be. But I think Jane Campbell is one of those players that we really need to be enjoying while she's still here in Houston.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's been here for a long time, and yeah, like James Clarkson, obviously being with her in every single practice, he gets to see her development, and I'm not surprised he will say such a thing since in reality it could be pretty accurate, but it's tough to tell with all the goalkeepers in the world. But she's the best. I think she's the best penalty stopper in the league.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and she could easily be the best goalkeeper in NWSL too.
And but we might even have the best backup goalkeeper in the league too. I don't know. I feel like we're definitely spoiled in the goalkeeper department.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, yeah. In terms of the Dash, obviously we don't have the most in-depth takes on them. Personally, I'm still learning more and more and trying to follow the team and kind of get more familiarized with their play style and how they are. But we're definitely trying our best to support all Houston teams. And I know Andres knows a little bit more about me, but shout out to all our other colleagues in the podcast area that cover the Dash. So you guys for sure always go support the podcast over at the Striker with Laura Gomez and Theo and Haley Snyder, I believe.
Oh yeah, she does her own podcast, but yeah, she's like a Dash encyclopedia.
Yeah, no, but for sure, it's if you guys ever have any constructive criticism for us in terms of the Dash, for sure let us know because we're always trying to learn. But we're just this podcast is just to keep you guys in the loop for the Dynamo, which we know the most about. But like we said, keep learning about the Dash and keep supporting all parts of this club because hold it down, H-Town.
Yeah, exactly. They're one and the same, so we just have to support them equally. And yeah, and with that, we're gonna go ahead and move for the preview for the Texas Derby coming up this weekend. National TV against an FC Dallas that it's pretty energetic in the sense of having a ton of young players available at all times, 24/7, and which has caught the attention of every single MLS pundit on Twitter, and they won't stop tweeting about them.
I mean, fair shout out to FC Dallas. Definitely our most heated rivals, but look, Dynamo have not been up to par. Obviously, in terms of our own performance, and we can't even talk about the. I think you have the statistic, but how we've been performing against FC Dallas in the past couple of years, it's sad, man. And I think this game could really be a big, not a turning point, but a big marker in the season if we go and get a result in Frisco and kind of show that this is not a year where we're going to be thrown around. Like obviously preseason happened, get that out of the way. But come on, let's change the narrative in Frisco and kind of put the Dynamo on track.
Yeah, like I get somewhat anxious every single time I play. The Dynamo have to play Frisco, like either home or away. Essentially, since from the last 21 league Texas derbies, the Dynamo only won 3 of them, and there's only been 7 draws between them, and that's not good. That's not a good record. And obviously, we had like a ton of coaches in that span of time since 2013, and but at the same time, going going back to last year, like it felt like it was kind of more the same. We're gonna have like shaky results. There's a good chance we might walk up with a draw, or they end up battering us, and it's just annoying, really. But if they can change things up as soon as possible against them, it will be great. But like I don't like every single time the Dynamo have to play them.
Well, yeah, it's not to put a negative Nancy over this, but I'm going to the match this weekend, FCD Houston in Frisco, since I live over here in Dallas, and every game I've been to, Houston Dynamo over here, it's either been a loss or I think maybe one time we pulled out a tie. So I'm gonna keep going. I might be bad luck, but I'm gonna keep going until we finally change something, because it can't just be me.
Oh yeah, and yeah, and just to talk about a little bit how they've been doing so far. FC Dallas did beat the Timbers 4-1 this past weekend. It was the Timbers that has been like essentially their B team, since they were resting them for the Champions League coming up. But
you could say maybe a similar B team to what the Dynamo played and lost to in Portland the week before that. But come on, it's always hard coming. There's a difference between playing a Portland B team at home and then playing a Portland B team down in Texas in the heat. And even more tired after that Club America game that they played on Wednesday. So, but still, fair play to Dallas, getting back on track, because they started off the season with a pretty unconvincing tie against Colorado, pretty bad loss to San Jose, and now, getting back on track with a win to Portland.
Yeah, and yeah, we're pretty much similar in the standings, 4 points, heading into really tough Texas Derby. In a game that the Dynamo have to pretty much win on the road, not only because of the record against them in Texas Derby lately, but also to make up for a pretty mad performances coming from LAFC, and obviously the result against Portland. This is a game they're going to have to win, and obviously they want to win all the games, but at the same time, this is a game they have to really focus on. There's a really I don't think they're gonna make changes from this game, but we'll see.
I agree. The thing is, we have to watch about is obviously Tyler Pasher's been our best player, but if you guys didn't know, Tab Ramos mentioned in the post game conference that they brought him off right after the goal because he told him at halftime that he was feeling some hip pain, I believe. So they brought him off right after he scored the goal. So cheers to Pasher for still playing through it and still getting us back on the score sheet, and I just hope he recovered in time this week to hopefully come at least put in another shift, and if not, at least hopefully off the bench for a bit. I don't know who would start over him on the wing there. I would assume Lassiter if that had to happen.
Well, yeah. We'll see if there are some movements on the bench too. Like I said before. I don't think Lassiter should be like the first option off the bench, like one of the first options off the bench up front.
We could see Darwin. We could see Quintero start on the wing like he had last year, and he's been coming off the bench playing on the wing. So
that's a good possibility. Yeah.
A point I wanted to bring up about the upcoming Dallas game is obviously in the last preseason game that we played against them last month, Dallas was rolling out pretty much I don't know if you want to call it a 5 in the back or a 3 in the back, but obviously they're playing with wing backs. So when they're defending with 5, attacking, and then in the attack, their wing backs are join the attack, obviously. Which in the pregame, in the preseason game, the FC Dallas came up against the Dynamo and completely just stuffed us with that formation. But FC Dallas started the season obviously not too hot, playing that same formation, and Luchi Gonzalez and his team ditched that formation for their regular 4 in the back in this win against Portland. So it'll be interesting because they might be tempted to go back to the 5 in the back, which they already saw succeed against the Dynamo, because we really had no attacking chances against them that game. Where will they stick with this 4 in the back, which is probably what they're going to keep doing throughout the season, and keep proving themselves through that. For me, the biggest threat for FC Dallas this game, apart from their defense, which is usually pretty good, is their new wingers, Freddie Vargas and Jader O'Brien. I believe Colombian and Venezuelan. So those guys obviously, haven't settled into the league that much yet. They're still getting their feet wet, but just like Fafa Pico with with FC Dallas in the past, have insane pace on the wings, and that's kind of scary with Zarek Valentin back there, and even Adam Lundqvist, who doesn't who kind of gets caught up in the attack sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, like you mentioned, regarding the wing back formation they've got, there's a good chance, obviously, that Tab may have figured it out, but at the same time, they can always FC Dallas can always switch it around to messing things up for Houston, and well, we just have to see what happens. Really, I think they may have to stick with the 4-player rotation in the back, so they can keep some consistency. But we still have to see that, since they can probably tell if Dynamo figured out how to work the wing back formation.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't know how they're going to come out. So like you said, so just of note, their forward, I believe Jesus Ferreira is still out with injury. Goalkeeper Jimmy Marr has been out injured, with Brazilian backup goalkeeper Felipe Megalario starting. He had a goalkeeper assist in that game versus Portland, and then a player I want to keep an eye on is definitely that everybody knows, Paxton Pomykal, who hasn't been starting obviously since his huge injury issues from the past, but it definitely was a huge impact off the bench for FC Dallas. So that's one to keep an eye on, whether he's starting or off the bench.
Yeah. That's the reason why a lot of the MLS pundits like to highlight him. He's a pretty good player, and yeah, he's one of the pieces to be worried about when it comes to not covering your spaces in their final third, and they just have to keep the coverage up. Coming off from the game against LAFC, it was pretty worrying. But
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. I just think that if they, it may not. I just hope it's not a situation like LAFC where they were essentially shut down, and giving players like Pomykal more options.
Yeah, for sure. So, I was just gonna say, I think this game for the Dynamo is gonna be, if we're gonna win or get a result in Frisco, it's gonna be one on our defense, which is really consolidating, but obviously we've been conceding 1 or 2 goals, which is not the worst thing in the world per game, but that'll be the hardest part, obviously, keeping that goal clean during the whole game. But apart from the defense, definitely our wing play, which was the most stifled against FC Dallas in preseason. But I really believe that Fafa has his feet under him more, and he's really due for a brace, man. I think when he scores, he's gonna score
Hopefully.
a double. Put money. I'm gonna put my word to that. If he doesn't get at least 1 goal versus FC Dallas, and I'll do something next week. We'll decide what. But I believe in Fafa. He's been kind of grinding it out, and the goals haven't come yet for him. But he had a nice assist to Pasher, and let's hope Pasher's healthy as well, because if they're both healthy, I really think the Dynamo can pull something out from this. And yeah, but that's pretty much our preview for the upcoming game. And I just wanted to mention before we send you guys off about the ongoing Dynamo Loan Army. So we had Marcelo Palomino debut for Charlotte Independence, and they lost 3-0 to Tampa Bay Rowdies, which is not a good result. But definitely we wanted to see Marcelo starting and getting a ton of playtime this year for Charlotte. And we have Eric McHugh debuting for Charleston Battery this coming week in USL as well. And then we don't have any players currently on loan to RGV, but they, I guess they're still somewhat our affiliate, something relationship there with, just to point out, we got Wilmer Cabrera, former Dynamo manager, former Dynamo players Juan David Cabezas, Tyler Derrick, Vicente Sanchez, all at RGV, and they got their first win of the season against New Mexico 1-0. So congrats to them as well. We'll be following them throughout the season.
Oh yeah, and yeah, RGVFC is still the Dynamo's USL affiliate. It's just that they are not a hybrid affiliate anymore. So essentially, the Dynamo no longer control their soccer team, and the Toros can essentially sign their own players and technical staff, and yeah, like it's been pretty interesting since like Matt Jordan said there's going to be like a Dynamo player loan to the Toros this season, and it hasn't happened yet, and which is pretty telling of Matt Jordan's track record here. But
I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, it reflects his track record. But jokes aside, yeah, like it's pretty interesting with Omar Cabrera back there as head coach, and him not having like a great relationship with the Dynamo after getting let go after a pretty bad third season actually, and yeah, with that said, we'll see what happens from here. I hope that more academy players get loaned so they can see more playing time.
Yeah,
for like
sure we got
in like a system they are able to succeed with, and yeah.
I know they're probably going to feature on the bench once we get injuries and Gold Cup absences and stuff going on throughout the summer. But I'd really like to see. I think I'd really like to see Danny Rios loaned permanently to RGV for the whole season, because I really, with how stacked our wingers are, I really don't think he's ever going to get a chance this season. And I've heard he's a promising player. He's committed to El Salvador's youth national team. So him and Juan Castillo, obviously from the academy, but definitely keep an eye out on Danny Rios. Maybe see if something with RGV will still happen. But other than that, you guys pray to your statues of Kevin Garcia and Cam Weaver this week. Be good boys and girls. So Santa Webb will give us a win against FC Dallas this week.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. Yeah, just like that. Just pray we get some more academy players out there and to get a win against FC Dallas on the road, which will be pretty huge. But lots to prove for Dynamo still, and just ending up one more note on the Loan Army. I thought it was funny that the Loan Army currently has 2 players, which is not enough for an army.
Yeah, so I didn't say it was a big army.
I just found that funny. Yeah.
I didn't say it was a big army. It's an army though.
Okay, an army of 2 people. Okay.
Anyways, guys, cheers. Thanks for listening. Let us know if you're going to be in Frisco this week. Maybe meet you guys in the concourse, since I'll be there socially distanced but vaccinated now. So take care. Yeah,
of course. The search is going to, so hit up the search supports group if you guys are going or not, so that way they can say hi over there and root for our boys over there in Frisco. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to episode 5 of Noodle Time. This was a great episode brought to you by yours truly and Tony, the guy that found Jose Bisama.
In Matt Jordan's basement.
In Matt Jordan's basement, yeah. So credit him as always, and yeah, thank you guys for listening in. Alrighty, and stay noodle.
Stay noodle.